Good morning. It's Wednesday, November 29th. Here's what we're working on. The city of Hamilton has launched its winter response strategy for people living unhoused.
A Superior Court judge is set to release his findings on the surface of Hamilton's Red Hill Valley Parkway.
And an interesting end to last night's Leafs game against Florida. Good morning and good morning to you, Brian Wood.
Good morning.
Look at both of you guys in your sweaters.
Got the sweaters on
all
today.
warm and cozy.
I'm wearing 14 layers, actually, just to keep warm this morning.
That's right. I came in with my snowsuit on, walking like this, because you can't bend in your snowsuit.
Well, listen, we didn't need the snowsuits around these parts, but some people sure did. Wow.
Yes, some people got really thumped, and there were blinding snow squalls yesterday. Blinding snow squalls. You know, what happened on the 403 yesterday with that complete
near
closure.
Brantford, yes.
Yeah, near Brantford, and all the way through. That affected everything into Ancaster, all the way through Brantford, and it was just horrendous on the roads yesterday. Some areas didn't get very much snow, like officially at the airport. We registered 1.2 centimeters. What? Like at least 5 to 8 centimeters where I live. Just west of Ancaster. So it depends on where you were as to how much you got, actually, with those snow squalls pushing their way across. Now, the interesting thing about today is the winds are going to shift around. They're going to come at us more from the south, so milder temperatures along with that. But the bands of snow squalls are going to shift now, and the Niagara area could get some snow squalls for the day today, maybe 5 centimeters north shore of Lake Erie into Niagara Falls, St. Catharines, and Grimsby. So we'll watch that. But yeah, temperature right now, -6, wind chill, -13. It's a cold start to the day, so yeah, the sweater feels good this morning. All right, let's look at traffic. 6:02 is the time. Nothing here, the 403 and Waterdown Road. All doing fine right there as usual this time of the morning to our MTO traffic cameras. Just a quick few. Centennial Parkway would start there coming out of Stony Creek, nothing to see. South end of the Skyway, all the way through Bronte, Burlington, Oakville, even Mississauga is doing fine so far. We'll keep you posted. Weather and traffic coming up. Right now, the news.
Okay, and still with the weather, Hamilton's winter response strategy is set to launch the day after tomorrow. That means warming centers will be open to help those experiencing homelessness. Simone Gavros joins us now from one of the rec centers that's going to be open with extended hours.
Hi, Annette. Yes, I'm at Westmount Recreation Center, and this location is going to be open until 11:30 p.m. every day starting this Friday until March. And this is one of the measures that is included in the city's response plan when it comes to the winter months. Now, this is a look at some of the other options that are going to be available starting on Friday. You can see here that the city will be offering a warming bus that'll run from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. free of charge. There'll be extended hours at this recreation center, as well as Valley Park and Norman Pinky Lewis recreation centers. Hamilton's Library's Central branch on York Boulevard will also be open for additional hours on statutory holidays, but it'll still act as a warming center during regular business hours as well. Now, 24 hours washrooms will be available at J.C. Beamer and Corktown Parks. 100 daytime drop-in spaces will be available in the city. 50 spots will be available at Living Rock Ministries and 50 at Christ Church Cathedral. And there's also going to be 80 overnight warming spaces that'll be offered as well. Now, this is all in an effort to provide options to those who are experiencing homelessness in the city, and that's going to start this Friday and go until the end of March. Tim, I'll send things over to you.
All right, thanks, Simone. Well, the results into a lengthy inquiry into Hamilton's Red Hill Valley Parkway are set to be released today. A Superior Court judge will release his findings at 11 o'clock this morning. Hamilton Council called for the inquiry back in 2019 after the discovery that friction tests of the parkway's surface had been buried for years. Shortly after the inquiry began, the city repaved the parkway and reduced the speed on it from 90 to 80 kilometers an hour. There are dozens of lawsuits against the city after crashes blamed on a slipper road surface.
A 45-story tower is coming to Hamilton's waterfront after the project got approval from City Council. The building is going to be part of a larger redevelopment of Pier 8. The high-rise tower is expected to have 645 units, with another 1,600 units built around that neighborhood. About 5% of them, or 400 units, are allocated for affordable housing. Some neighbors, though, don't like this idea.
It's going to take away from our beautiful view that we have of the water. I mean, we can come outside and look at this gorgeous view. We can see Burlington, the Skyway Bridge, all the way to Clapperson's Corner.
There'll be a large commercial area where people can shop, can stop at a restaurant, can go up the tower and look out over the bay. It'll be the first major tower in Hamilton history built to net zero greenhouse gas standards.
Developers are hoping to start building by late next year into early 2025, depending on how long it takes to get city permits. The Ontario government is updating the rules around the province's real estate sector. It says the changes are designed to strengthen consumer confidence when dealing with brokerages, brokers, and salespeople. One of the most important changes coming next month, on Friday, is that a brokerage will be allowed to disclose the details of competing offers.
If the seller, if the vendor of a property wishes to have the details of competing offers, then the agent would be obligated to provide that. So the seller can say, I don't want blind offers. I want to know what the details are on these competing offers so that the consumer has an informed ability to make choices. Of course, the personal details, the personal information of the purchaser behind the competing offers would remain confidential, but the details of it, the price, for example, conditions, would all be available to the vendor or seller.
And the changes also include an updated code of ethics to strengthen professional obligations when it comes to integrity, conflict of interest, and fraud prevention. The new rules come into effect December 1st.
Sports time. Maple Leafs back on home ice for the first time in a couple weeks after their visit to Sweden and then a couple losses on the road over the weekend. So they hosted a team who ousted them from the playoffs last season in the Florida Panthers, who had a chance to win it in the shootout.
In comes Rodriguez, scores! And the Florida Panthers win it 2-1 in the shootout.
Or did they? Despite Florida celebrating the win, fans heading for the exit. The goal was reviewed because Evan Rodriguez was said to have touched the puck twice, which he did. You can't do that. No goal. Shootout goes on. Everybody filing back into the building. Noah Gregor, who scored the only goal for the Leafs in regulation, scored the shootout winner. Leafs, they win a crazy one thanks to Joseph Woll, who had 38 saves, including that one right there. 2 on the final. Third shootout win of the season. They host Seattle tomorrow. Lots more on this coming up.
That's why you stay to the end.
Yeah, right? Got to beat the traffic.
This will lead to a breakaway. Connor McDavid in on Thompson. Backhander score.
Hard not to watch Connor McDavid right now after a slow start for his season and his Oilers. Best player in the world had 9 points in 2 games heading into their tilt with the defending champs from Vegas. He added 3 more with a goal of 2 helpers to force the shootout, and then scored one of 2 goals in the shootout to give Edmonton 3rd straight win, 5-4 the final. I want to stay with hockey for a second, but head to Chicago, where the Blackhawks say veteran forward Corey Perry engaged in unacceptable conduct and took a step towards terminating his contract. An internal investigation showed Perry acted in violation of his NHL contract and their club policies, so they put Perry on unconditional waivers. We don't know what he did, but rumors were swirling on social media, so the Hawks had to say it had nothing to do with a player on their team or his family.
3+2, and they're doing it again. How about that? That's it to Boucher, and Boucher connects.
Raptors finished up their in-season tourney group play last night in Brooklyn, facing the Nets. Both teams not moving on to the knockout round. Scotty Barnes had a solid night for Toronto. Great assist there on that Boucher bucket, one of the 11 he had in the night. He also dropped 17 points. That reverse throwdown right there. Nets would end up taking this one, though, 115-103. Raps fall to 8-10, and they come on back home, and they face Phoenix tonight at Scotiabank.
Has the height advantage here in the post. Already beat his cousin one time. There's the second as he has that beautiful fadeaway.
Yeah, it's finished with Hamilton's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who was facing his cousin, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, who plays for Minnesota. They've probably done that many times as kids. SGA had the advantage early. He would score 20 points in the first quarter, put the Thunder up. But in their final in-season tourney game, easy for me to say, both teams eliminated from moving on. But the game still counts in the standings. SGA would finish with 32 points on the night, but back came the T-Wolves thanks to a big second half. Shea needing the 3 to tie it, does not fall. 106-103 Minnesota. They moved to 13-4. Best team in the West.
To the roads we go on this, what is this, a Wednesday morning already? It is 29th of November, 10 minutes after 6 o'clock. There's nothing happening on the roads right now, which is good for you this morning, as opposed to what we had yesterday with all the snow squalls. 403 Waterdown Road, a little busier Toronto bound, but still doing okay. MTO traffic cameras, not a lot to see as we start in St. Catharines, Garden City Skyway, no problem. Centennial Parkway still doing fine. Fairview toward Brant Street looks good. Nothing in Oakville at East or Royal Windsor or at Etobicoke Creek. Just a little bit greasy roads this morning. We've had some blowing snow around the area with that wind. All right, checking the temperature that we have at the moment. Yeah, it's a chilly start to the morning, -6. Then you factor in the winds. But notice those winds. They are now southwest 22, and that makes it feel like -13 this morning. It's a chilly start. No problems with air quality, low risk category morning and afternoon. For school today, yeah, some flurries on and off, maybe a couple of centimeters, but we're looking at windy conditions again, but a high of 0 for the day today. Better than we got to yesterday. We only got to -2. Here's a look at the snow squalls that continue and have continued overnight, the lee of the lakes. But the interesting thing, as I mentioned earlier, is the winds are shifting now to the southwest. That means there's going to be a special weather advisory for the Niagara area, north shore of Lake Erie, because they're going to get snow squalls coming in off of Lake Erie. Another 5 centimeters for those areas. Otherwise, Hamilton could get a couple of centimeters. We have an approaching low pressure system that's going to bring us some instability as we get into, well, December, actually. So today, 2 centimeters for Hamilton, 5 for the north shore of Lake Erie. That includes Cayuga, Simcoe, Niagara Falls, into Dunnville as well. Otherwise, 1 and 0 for Halton, Peel, Toronto. Tonight, temperatures staying milder, +1 for Niagara, but -1 to 0 overnight. Not much of a wind chill. The winds will die off nicely, partly cloudy. Tomorrow, look at this. What happens here? 7, 8, and 9 degrees. We got a whoop from Emily over there saying, yay, milder temperatures, woo-hoo. And we're going to have some sunshine. So the sun still has some warmth to it, so temperatures tomorrow a lot better, a lot of melting going on tomorrow. So out the door this morning, yep, we do have some snow flurries around the area, just light flurries. Temperature right now, -6. Wind chill, -13, that is. We'll look at the long-range forecast coming up. Annette, Tim.
Okay, let's say good morning officially to Emily. We just heard her cheers of yes, warmer weather.
You got your mic on?
I do.
Yes.
I have to sprint, take off the heels, run, grab it from my desk.
I hear clip clopping in, and then the heels are tossed, running out, coming right back into the mic.
But I made it, and you never would have known.
No, but
right?
we love to tell.
I know, you always tell on me.
Behind the scenes
here
action.
comes Emily again. Okay, coming up, Chit Chat. Do you guys remember the movie Good Burger? No, Kenan Thompson?
Kenan Thompson.
Yeah,
okay, I was going to say Kenan Thompson. I don't
it
think
was
I ever
originally like a Saturday Night Live thing. They made it into a movie.
Oh, is he on Saturday Night Live? I'm kidding. He's like the longest tenured Saturday Night Live ever. Yeah.
You would know that.
Well, Good Burger 2 is now streaming, and we'll talk about it coming up.
Cool. Do you want fries with that?
I do.
Okay. All right.
We'll see you in a little bit. Coming up after the break.
Will international online business have to pay an extra tax in Canada next year? That's the plan, but there's no commitment to a date just yet. We're coming up on 6:16 on this Wednesday morning. In overseas trading, Canadian dollar down 3 basis points to 73.65 cents U.S. Gold is down 50 cents, and crude is up 82 cents to $77.23 a barrel. Checking midday trading in Europe, markets are down in London, but there are gains this afternoon there in Frankfurt and Paris.
Let's have a little peek at Asia. Markets are down across the board, Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. North American markets on Tuesday, slight gains on Bay Street. Nothing too substantial on Wall Street on November the 29th. What can it, no, that was 28th yesterday.
Yeah.
Today's the 29th when they open at 9:30.
Well, Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland insists that the government's position on a new digital services tax has not changed. But will it still take effect early next year as planned? The 3% tax will be put on foreign digital services that profit off Canadian audiences. it is not popular in the U.S., where critics say it unfairly targets the American tech sector. The tax was included in Chrystia Freeland's fall economic statement, which the government is enacting through a Ways and Means motion that was introduced this week. The digital services tax is expected to bring in more than $7 billion over 5 years. It will only apply to companies that do not have a physical presence in Canada.
Federal judge who paved the way for the government to propose new restrictions on how Meta can use personal data. Monday's decision allows the Federal Trade Commission to ban the social media giant from profiting off the data it collects from the users under the age of 18. The FTC also suggested implementing tougher rules on Meta's use of facial recognition technology. With this ruling, the agency could force Facebook and Instagram parent Meta to halt the rollout of any new products or services until an audit shows the company is complying with privacy obligations. Meta could potentially seek to appeal the decision to the U.S. Court of Appeals.
Porter Airlines and Air Transat are teaming up, hoping to put more of a fight up against Canada's largest carriers. For Toronto-based Porter, the deal will open the gates to Europe and the sunny southern getaways that are currently being served by Air Transat. And in return, Transat, which is based out of Montreal, is going to benefit from access to Porter's rapidly growing network to Canada, across Canada and the United States. The alliance will allow Porter and Air Transat to coordinate their pricing, their schedules, and their revenue sharing. This joint venture will boost Air Transat's 60 destinations abroad and Porter's 30 in North America to a combined 80 destinations.
We stay in the air because the first commercial airliner to cross the Atlantic on a purely high-fat, low-emissions fuel flew from London to New York yesterday.
What we're hoping is that today, by doing this test flight with 100% clean fuels, that 20, 25 years from now, that most airlines flying in the world will be using sustainable aviation fuel.
Yeah, the flight carried only that guy, that is Virgin's billionaire founder, Richard Branson. I guess there was a few others too. They say it's a step towards achieving what supporters call Jet Zero. The Virgin Atlantic Boeing 787 flight was powered without using fossil fuels, instead relying on so-called sustainable aviation fuel made up largely of tallow and other waste fats. As the world decarbonizes, airlines are banking on fuel made from waste to reduce their emissions by up to 70%, enabling them to keep operating before electric and hydrogen-powered air travel becomes a reality in the next decade to come.
Does it smell like fries? When it
Yeah, I'm so hungry.
Yeah. Well, the Coastal GasLink pipeline across northern British Columbia is mechanically complete, and that's ahead of the company's year-end deadline. TC Energy says history's been made by finishing Canada's first pipeline to the West Coast in more than 70 years. The company announced in October that they were finished installing the pipe. Mechanical completion now means construction is over, and they have hydro-tested the full 670 kilometers of line. The pipeline was originally estimated to cost $6.2 billion. That has climbed now to $14.5 billion. The pipeline team is now getting ready to transport liquid natural gas to a new Canadian processing and export facility in Kitimat, BC.
Elon Musk has agreed to operate Starlink in Gaza only with Israel's approval. Israeli officials, they say Starlink satellite units can only be operated in Israel with the approval of the Israeli Ministry of Communications, including the Gaza Strip. Now, in late October, Musk said that Starlink would support connectivity to internationally recognized aid organizations in Gaza. That's after the besieged territory suffered a loss of internet service.
Okay, we're taking a quick break right now. Brian's going to be back with your traffic and 7-day forecast.
Might not need this sweater tomorrow, or the other 4 layers I'm wearing.
Time check 6:24 on this 29th morning of November. We're looking at traffic, Garden City Skyway. This is the west camera this time. Really nothing to see all the way through St. Catharines. Getting a little busier now. South end of the Burlington Skyway, but still moving okay. Bronte Road looks good. Sheraton through Mississauga, no problems. 403 at Burnham Thorpe. So moving nicely so far this morning. No collisions to talk about. Temperatures to talk about. We're -6 in Hamilton right now. Factor in the winds, feels like -13. So it's a chilly start. -3 Toronto, -4 Mississauga, -5 for Grimsby. And for seasonal temperatures, where we figure we should be, is about -3 for the overnight low. So we're on that chilly side this morning. 4 for the daytime high. Once again, those are our sun times and our records for today. For today for school, -4 for the first bell, some flurries, and then again the flurries will continue, possibly just a few snow squalls depending on where you are. -1 for coming home after school today. Now, Hamilton is going to climb to 0 today. No real wind chills because the winds will not be as strong today as they have been, and they're going to shift around. So maybe a couple of centimeters today, but a special weather statement for Niagara saying maybe 5 centimeters from snow squalls coming off of Lake Erie. -1 tonight. Tomorrow, 7 in Hamilton, 8 and 9 degrees other areas of the Horseshoe, and sunshine for the day tomorrow. So that's how we're capping off November. December, we get some showers and 3, cloudy skies Saturday, and then some showers for Sunday and Monday. That's forecast. Annette and Tim.
Hi.
Thinking Emma.
Hi.
Hi, Annette, Tim.
Hello.
Thanks, Steve.
Nice to meet
Thanks.
you.
So a family of 5 Eurasian beavers have been reintroduced to a parkland in London.
Now, this is significant because they were hunted to extinction more than 400 years ago. And now Britain's largest rodent was welcomed back to a wetland haven on the outskirts of the capital. Hello, we're back. 400 years, but we're back. The release is part of a wider movement to rewild cities across the UK by reintroducing the beavers to the site. The project, which is supported by London's Mayor's Rewild Fund and Amazon's Right Now Climate Fund, aims to transform the area into a flourishing wetland to help fight the impact of the climate crisis and create a better ecosystem for plants and animals.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought beavers were just mainly in North America.
I thought so too, but I guess that's why the trade here was so important, because they had hunted them all to extinction in England.
And you mentioned something yesterday. It was the beaver moon.
Yes, beaver moon.
Which is the full moon this time of the year because
They are building their little dams.
busy working away in the middle of the night. And
If you want to see what they're doing,
light.
go down to Hamilton's Bayfront Park. Oh, they're busy.
Okay.
Yeah, they're busy.
Good stuff. 1/2 hour down. Lots more to come on your Wednesday morning. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
To beaver.
Oh.